Hello everyone, I'm Mehak Mir, member of Moolya Foundation. I'm glad I've got this opportunity to conduct this video series and have a conversation with our IOMO scholars. 1 month ago, Moolya Foundation had started an In My Opinion challenge which helps young budding policy enthusiasts to put forth their opinions. Over the period of time, we've received some phenomenal submissions, and as this journey comes to an end, we would like to put their point of views through this video series. Without wasting any further time, I would like to request Simran to introduce herself.
Yes. Hi, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Mehak, to invite me for this discussion or a get to know me thing. And I am actually loving it to be here. So my full name is Simran Kapoor, and I am a recent political science graduate. Finally, after Delhi University decided to conduct their exams, I came across this challenge around 2 months ago. And being a political science student, honestly, I believe that in these 3 years, I didn't take an opportunity to understand public policy that well. And when this challenge came through, it was inviting beginners, whoever who just have an idea and who has a zest to come up with solutions. I did have a lot of ideas. I have worked with different organizations in coming up with solutions, but this time I was actually looking at a societal problem. And me being an enthusiast in coming up with trying to analyze and coming up with solutions, as I want to go for the path of international relations and public policy, I saw this to be a most learning opportunity, and I just grabbed it and I made sure like I could do the best out of. And the whole network that it was providing with different policy enthusiasts who wanted to come up with their own problems and then come up with their own solutions. That is something Moolya Foundation had come up with, and I was really attracted by this opportunity.
Simran, we're very glad Moolya Foundation could give you this opportunity. So now I would like you to discuss your topic in brief,
Yes.
strengthening the social welfare system or preventive action to migrant crisis in the future.
Yes. So basically, I think this is one of the most hot topic that was there after lockdown was introduced, and we saw a lot of people like transferring from mostly the metropolitan cities to their own hometowns. And I think this crisis brought about a lot of problems that are already breeding in our society, and it just goes unnoticed. And those are the solutions that I came up with. I focused on those kind of aspects that we could focus on preventing a crisis of this extent that we had seen in the past months. So these are the pointers. Do you want me to go ahead with explaining you the pointers, or do you have any other questions so I can put the focus onto those points differently?
Yeah, we can go anyway. Either you want me to just say out the pointers, or if you want to go ahead, anyway works.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead with it.
Yeah, no problem.
So my first point was actually organizing the informal sector. So with the figures that there's almost 90% of workforce that is involved in the informal sector, and it it contributes to 50% to the GDP. So that is something that really surprised me, that such a sector which is contributing so much to the GDP and still goes unnoticed when it comes to the socioeconomic benefits. And that is why the support that this sector couldn't provide to the migrants, to the laborers, to a lot of the workforce that is involved into this sector, that created the major insecurity into them. And that's why this grand exodus happened, and that's what we saw. So what I focused on, one of the solutions here, is first of all creating a record is really important. So basically, if you don't know who are those people who are working in the workforce, how would you ensure that they also enjoy the socio-economic benefits? So first of all, it is important to have a tracking system. It is important to have that kind of a formal record. And honestly, the figures that I had mentioned, those are uh, according to the survey, it's understated. So it is surprising. I'm giving you a very understated figure. So you don't know exactly how many migrants are working into that sector. Then definitely it's beyond the figure that I'm providing you. So it is very important to first of all have that record. So you can focus on the health insurance, you can focus on the payment of wages, contracts, you can focus on other socioeconomic benefits. And just think about it, if you don't focus on the workforce that is providing so much to the economy, and without them, the whole economy will cripple. So I think the record, along with the socioeconomic benefits, and in overall transforming and organizing the informal sector, is one of the solutions.
Correct. It's such a great point. I think the officials start thinking about it and start using it. Like, obviously they work upon it and then they use it. However, they find useful. So
Yeah.
now, Simran, could you please give us a brief on the public sector, public distribution system,
Yes.
enhancement and expansion, both?
Yes. So basically, the public distribution system, it's a food security scheme that was introduced by the government. Uh, and we had seen a lot of tragedies already with the loopholes that already exist with the public distribution system, being it the meal tragedy that had ever happened in a government school, um, wherein so basically the control of these distribution systems, the ration, is on the center and on the state governments. So they procure the food and then they provide it to the ration shops, to the PDS systems. and and the loopholes that exist with the PDS system is sometimes the procurement, the food resources can be given to these private shopkeepers, can be illegally marketed, and that's how it never get appropriately distributed to the consumers. So if you see the exodus that happened, the migrant crisis, why does people have an insecurity? um, why do they anyway avail a job, right? Because they want a good earning, they want to buy the necessities, they want, and one of the necessity is food. So if the food security scheme is developed, it's maintained properly, I think you basically, all these three pointers, these three solutions are focusing on eradicating that insecurity. So the workforce can have that kind of a trust on the government, on their employers, and this public distribution system really helps on to eradicating that insecurity. So I believe this is one of the things that is not just for the migrant crisis, but for any other further crisis that could occur. So that is my point on the public distribution system.
Exactly. Food being such an important and essential thing in each and everyone's life, be it rich, poor, anything, we need it every day. There's no surviving without food. Uh, so now I would just like you to give us a brief on the generation of employment in rural areas
Yes.
as your last subtopic of the article.
Yes. So now I came up with the most basic solutions in the previous two pointers, right? Now this is a very basic solution, and honestly, a lot of people have been the governments for long have been trying to focus on this point, generation of employment, right? So the last point, the last solution is the most sustainable solution that we have going into the future. So if you see a lot of migrants who are coming from different rural areas onto different cities, they come to these 3 to 4 metropolitan cities. And now the burden of generating and providing employment to a large amount of population, which is almost 1.3 billion population, which got had to go through this exodus when the lockdown was announced. So basically, focusing on providing employment to this 1.3 billion population was onto only 3 to 4 cities, 3 to 4 metropolitan cities. So it's just not me. If any one of us would think about it, it's insane. like 3 to 4 cities focusing on generating employment for almost most of the population. So the third pointer focuses on eradicating that insecurity. So if you have employment, if you have that opportunity pool in your hometown, why would the person go outside to look for a job? Why would a person go outside to look for a better opportunity? So it's important to focus on creating a great pool of opportunity into their hometowns, and that's why you won't see a lot of migration. So I think this is one of the most sustainable solution that we could see to any of the crises, not just definitely I said through my topic on the submission, strengthening the social welfare system is to prevent a future migrant crisis. But I won't say just the migrant crisis, any crisis that involves the human population. So this is what I want to focus on when I say generation of employment in the rural areas.
Correct. Now that you're speaking about it and being in a metropolitan city, you
Yeah,
end up realizing the strain the strain that the city has when India being a developing country, we can provide employment all over the country, which would end up helping people from everywhere, like each and every part. And rural areas wouldn't be considered rural as much if this happens,
yes,
according to my point of
exactly. I mean, it's a very it's a long drawn procedure,
view. Sure.
but definitely it's like creating more metropolitan cities or just creating more cities which would provide better opportunities to people, not just not to call them metropolitan cities, but just to some spaces that will provide better opportunities to the population. So I think that's more of an idea when I talk about it.
Definitely, it seems like a win-win situation for everyone. Like, if the officials look into it and we have something better that's coming up, it's definitely win-win for the people, the migrants, and who wouldn't be migrating, as well as the government. Um,
Yes, yes, definitely.
Correct. So, Simran, I think after this interview, we really have got an idea of strengthening our social welfare system for not only the migrant workers, but also each and every citizen who fears going to any other place or working somewhere else. I really think this
Yes,
interview has given like people a thought to think about. Thank you so much,
definitely. And
Simran.
you know what? I am so sorry for interrupting you, but at last, as I'm leaving, I would really want to say that thank you, Moolya Foundation, because I never thought about this problem from this perspective. I had a very privileged stance on this crisis. And now, when I think about it, Moolya Foundation had given that platform through their workshops and made sure that I look at it from a different perspective of more a broader view. And as we are ending this interview, I'm thank you to Moolya Foundation for at least pushing me to think about it, pushing me to come up with my own solutions. And hopefully, I look at all the problems in the society which I think need solutions. And I would say to all the people who are looking at or watching this video is um, to be so solution oriented, to think about when you look at a problem, to just think about solution and how you can solve it rather than blaming each other. And I think Moolya Foundation had given that platform to certain people, and I hope it will come up with various opportunities to do further as well.
We are very glad we could provide you with this opportunity, Simran. Also, personally, even I think, even I wasn't thinking in ways where I could get solutions. But as and when I've started recording like this video series, it has really helped me gain a better perspective of what's going around us. So, even I
Yeah,
thank Moolya Foundation for that. And I thank you as well, Simran. Thank you so much. Um
great.
yeah,
Nice talking to you, Meg. Nice talking to you.
same here, Simran.